Hello and welcome to the Rabbit Hole with me, Graham Hughes, and Rachel Harris. How you doing, Rachel? You all right?
I'm hot. I'm really hot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I said the studio in here. It's Tenko in here. It's like tin roof in this studio, and it's like I turned the aircon off, which was holding it at 33 degrees, and I'm watching it go 35, 36, 37 on the thermometer
Oh,
now.
crikey.
It's gonna be boiling in here.
Well, I had my big list on my phone of all of the things I needed to
Oh,
get together for Glastonbury,
hey.
and I've done none of it because I spent the whole afternoon sorting Mike out with all the assets that he needs to do up
Friday.
this for Friday. No pressure, Mike, but it better work. We've got Diz and Simon in the chat so far, and Gareth T is in there as well, and Francis Winrow saying hello all. We're doing a little bit of an earlier show tonight. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe if you like, but
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to actually join the chat, I'm afraid, because we don't allow it.
Hey,
Also,
Dan.
when I press the subscribe button on my little gizmo here, it's coming up with an error message. That's not right.
Ooh.
I see the super chat button works. Yay, super chat still works. That's all that matters. Anyway,
Excellent.
so you do you have a list for me,
I
Rach?
do have a list. Now I
Yes.
did two lists because this show was going to be films that bombed but now have become good, and films that bombed and deserve to be bombed and still are. But however, so I've got eight honorable mentions of films that bombed and never recovered. But we probably won't get to those. Not with 20 films that bombed and recovered.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's go.
but
What's
I've obviously seen these because I can't talk because you're going to go off on one on some I've not seen. So I know you've seen these films, so these are
okay?
easy. So I've got
Okay.
20, no particular order, but I went through five or six different articles, IMDb database, and a few other things, and it came up with the same sort of 19 films.
Yeah.
So in at number one, the film that didn't do well at the box office at the time, but Blade Runner.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Blade Runner, based on Philip K. Dick's novel "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep," which isn't that title. It's not that much of a catchy title.
It's an equal book.
Yeah, directed by Ridley Scott. It was a sophomore effort, wasn't it? After Alien in 1979, so I think it was
Yeah.
1982. Blade Runner came out with this
Yeah.
amazing futuristic soundtrack written by Vangelis and starring Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, and Sean Young as well. Apparently, Sean Young and Harrison Ford didn't really get on, but then they were back together for the sequel.
Yeah, they were actually, and I think I don't know. It's the first thing as I remember as a kid. Well, not I wasn't really a kid, but let's pretend I was. Um, where I'd seen Harrison Ford that wasn't in Star Wars, right? So it
Yeah.
was like, oh, wow, he can do
Or
something.
Indy. He was Indiana Jones as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and he was also regarding Henry and a few other films that I really like. But he did a load of stuff to try to break that stuff.
That
Oh,
came
right.
afterwards, didn't it? Regarding Henry Witness, he
Yeah. Oh, the
did.
wit.
Working Girl, he was in.
Yeah. Yeah. That Working Girl's good film. So,
um,
so yeah.
we've got some questions about Glastonbury coming in. Garrett T is asking who's headlining Glastonbury. It's Charlie XCX, Neil
Yep.
Young, Crazy Horse, and Rod Stewart is doing the Legends, and
Yep.
Olivia Rodrigo is headlining, I think, on the
I sent you a load of
Sunday.
LGBT artists.
Yes, there's a big stack of LGBT artists that I'm going to take my woke as fuck flag to,
Excellent.
which should be fun. Who am I most looking forward to seeing? I answered this morning. I really hope Pulp play a secret set. That would be fucking fantastic. Nice sunny day, early evening. You know, the sun's going down behind the pyramid stage, and everyone's happy, and everyone's in a good mood, and everyone's energetic, and then Pulp put on a secret
Excellent.
show. That would be excellent. I'm looking forward to see Ash. TerraVision are playing the Avalon
Yeah.
stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing them again. There's a bunch of bands that I'm looking forward to seeing again, but I really want to see Kate Nash.
You're
Kate
just
Nash
seeing
is.
all our Gen X music. Get your own music and write your own. Get your
Well,
own.
I'm going to see Charlie XCX. I'm planning to see Olivia Rodrigo. I'm going to see Gracie Abrams. So I'm still going to a lot of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll tell you now. Number one, band that I really, really, really want to see. Wolf
I'm picking.
Alice. Wolf Alice. I went to see them a couple of years ago in Newcastle, and they're just fucking amazing. They are so good. So very excited about Wolf Alice playing Glastonbury again, and they've got a new album out this summer.
If you can remember Glastonbury, man, you weren't there.
I tell you what, it's funny because the last couple of days I've been looking over some of my old footage, and Rach, I've got no recollection. I'm looking back over this. There is no memory in my head of these things happening, of me seeing these bands, of me being with those particular friends. Like, I'm like, oh, Matt was there. Oh, Dan was, oh, Lindsay was there. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. And I'm like, this is like 20 years ago. And I can remember certain bands like that really stick in my head, like Radiohead in 97, REM in 99. There's a few bands, David Bowie in 2000. Okay, I can see myself in the crowd with our Secretary of State for Trade. And a couple of other mates. Yeah, I do. I text. I don't want to text because I've got Johnny's number and I've got Mary's number, my MP. I don't want to hassle them, so they block me. Do you know what I mean?
Put Johnny in the politics social chat because you know how fluffy I am about Labour in the politics chat.
So if anyone's old enough to remember History Today on the May Whitehouse Experience and Newman and Baddiel, if anyone remembers it, it was two old men doing the history, and then they'll just descend into playground insults. Yeah, and I think this would make a fantastic show. Me, A. Thompson, and Super Tansky, and we start talking about politics, and then it's all like, "Your dad is such a slut."
Perfect.
What do you think? Would you watch that? People on the channel?
I'll totally watch that. Well, that's your swimming pool, that is.
So when you're walking through a field and you step in a cow pat, and then you step in another cow pat, that's your trainers, that is. That's your new Reebok classics, that is. But yeah, so we're thinking of doing something like that. So it'll be like, Have I Got News for You meets History Today. Because it'll just descend into just playground insults. Because I like it when we have a little bit of a debate. Yeah. Not when it goes a bit too far. Do you know what I mean? But on the channel when we do the Friday night thing or whatever. But I just think it'd be really fucking hilarious. Because A does that all the time in our chat, doesn't he?
It provokes a reaction.
You say something and you go, I disagree with that. He's like, well, you would, you shit flap. Yeah. I think it's funny. Diz says, how can I mod Glastonbury? Diz, it'll be going out on this channel, so you'll still be a mod. But I don't think you can mod actual Glastonbury, mostly because Paul Weller's not playing this year. Thank you.
Very good. Here a week, tickets to Well, I mean, the thing is that if you're getting a bit old like me, sitting at home watching it on BBC Two with the red button, still good. You know, in 4K, you know, it's pretty...
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Blade Runner. What else have we got?
Children of Men.
Ooh, did that bomb at the post office? What the fuck is wrong with me? The box office.
Post office sucked.
It got lost at the post office.
Hello, I'm Clive Owen. I'd like my taxi. Please fuck off. All right, it really sucked.
Was that a bomb? Because that was Curzon Thingy, wasn't it? The guy who directed.
It was Michael Caine. Why is it that women have stopped having babies?
Yeah. My name is Michael Caine.
Yeah, and
he got older. When he was young, he used to talk like this. But as he got older, he went, oh. Yeah.
She was only 15.
Oh, Master Bruce.
She was. Keep up.
But no, Children of Men, Clive Owen, directed by Curzon Thingy. I've forgotten his fucking name. He directed
Star Trek,
Harry Potter 3, and he did Gravity, and he did some other.
We don't mention the HP word on this films. In this channel.
And there's a wonderful scene that's all a big one take where they go into the building and they get the woman with the baby and they come back to the building
and everybody stops
and it's in the car and out of the car. It's fucking really well done. And it ends with the Pulp song, See You Next Tuesdays, I'm Running the World. Actually, it's a Jarvis Cocker song. I don't think it's an official Pulp song.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my theme tune at the moment.
It's hard to watch now. I mean, apocalyptic films are hard to watch when the world is a bit so apocalyptic. But
Yeah, I was thinking that, you
Handmaid's
know.
Tale, I'm not going to watch that now. So yeah, but it was. I like Children of Men. I like Clive Owen because I remember him in the '80s being in Charmer or Chancer, which was a great series. Bet his first series that
He
launched him.
would have been a good James Bond.
Yeah,
He
he
was
would
a
have done.
James Bond that never was. We all thought he might be Clive Owen
My name
around
is John Bond, James Bond.
that.
Yeah, it'd have been good. Clive Owen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Moving on.
Ray, hang on, before you go on, Ray
Yeah.
W in the chat is saying John Carpenter's Thing flopped. Sorry to hear that,
Oh
John.
yeah, that's on my list. The thing was in the list. Yeah, the thing. The thing 1982. Well, that's good. You've mentioned that. We can cross that one off. That was
Okay.
another one. Classic. Now we talked about it last week, didn't we? Because it
It
was a
is.
re.
It's a fucking honestly, and I love the fact there's no CGI in it. It is all puppetry and animatronics and blood and gore, and it's just a
I
very very tight film. It's a
and as I
tight
said,
film.
yeah, the best. I mean, the bit when the head goes
Yeah.
and it goes, oh fucking hell! I don't want to see that.
um, Trip Chip is saying Angel Heart with Robert De Niro and Mickey Rourke. That
Oh
is an
yeah,
excellent movie. That was
yeah,
Parker when Alan Parker directed that.
yeah.
It
I'm
was in
gonna
the
add that.
mid
I'll add that.
'80s, and
Good film.
Robert De Niro played Lewis Cypher.
Did so?
Bit of a
Who was the?
giveaway, mate. Bit of a giveaway.
Did
Lewis
he?
Cypher.
Sorry, who was the two? Who was the other star? Who were the stars in that again?
It was Robert De Niro
Yeah.
and Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, is that when Mickey Rourke looked like Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, before he
Yeah,
decided to.
before he stopped looking like Mickey Rourke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember it. Yeah. Good one. Okay, number 3, Donnie Darko.
Ooh. So what's interesting is you've mentioned a couple of films there, Children of Men. Obviously, I was a
Yeah.
bit too young for Blade Runner and the Thing, but Children of Men and Donnie Darko I saw at the cinema. I remember going to see Donnie Darko. I think I saw it at the Rain Dance Film Festival in London.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. I might just be misremembering that. I seem to remember seeing it down in London. But
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I thought it
fantastic.
was good. It was the first time I saw Jake Gyllenhaal, whatever it is, and
Gyllenhaal.
it was really dark. I mean, it was. I mean, Donnie Darko, clue in the title, but it was dark, right?
But excellent as well. And
Yeah.
it led to a Christmas #1 in Mad World by
Yeah,
Gary Jules.
that's a depressing song.
I know it got Christmas #1.
Oh,
Cheer
I
up,
know.
everyone. God, the British are a miserable bunch, aren't they?
Why is
We're
that
not
not
happy unless we've got a really miserable Christmas #1 and Arthur Fowler's in jail crying in a little prison cell. Happy Christmas, motherfuckers.
God, bloody hell. Arthur Fowler, bloody hell. Indeed. Oh, well, Donnie Darko, good film. Slightly, a little bit of a mystic plot for some people, but I liked it.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was
Yeah,
really
me
good.
too. Me too. So,
Good music
1975,
as well.
film, The Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, Rocky. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to sort of stuff like Rocky Horror Show, it's not like it was like a big, massive blockbuster.
But
But
it didn't make an impact. Everyone went, wow. Because some independent films, like that film Monster that was filmed on a phone and a laptop,
yeah,
did really well. It was done on a budget.
yeah, yeah,
I think The Rocky Horror Show, obviously, massive classic.
yes.
All these cisgender people that don't like trans people drag up and go and dance to it,
Like a back of cunts. I'd like, why? I mean, that's just rude, isn't it? It's just like you go
Yeah,
out
you don't like
and
trans people. Don't go the fucking Rocky Horror, you cheeky buggers.
it's just the worst.
Yeah, you got to earn your right to attend Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
Rice a newspaper, and and off you go. Okay, this was my favorite in the list. Oh, well, there's loads of favorites, and we've spoken about this many times. Film that didn't do well, horror film, Event Horizon.
ooh, I saw that at the cinema as well.
Yeah, that film really didn't do well at the time, but wow, now it's the scariest fucking film out there. It really is.
I think it was in the John Carpenter film. There was a movie called In the Mouth of Madness, and I think that had Sam Neill in it, and it came out around the same time. I might just be making this up.
Sam Neill trying to get rid of his nicey image. You don't need eyes where we're going.
What, Sam Neill? He played the bloody devil. He played Damien in The Omen 3.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to throw his nicey image of Sam Neill, right?
Have you seen The Hunt for the Wilder People? I think it's called, with Sam Neill in.
I've
and the
seen The Hunter
lad.
for Red October with Sam Neill.
um, that's a really fun film. It's a really really fun film. It's called The Hunt for the Wilder People. It's a
All
little
right.
New Zealand film, well worth checking out. But Event Horizon's one of the scariest films.
It's terrifying. And you wouldn't watch that on your own late at night. You just wouldn't. I mean, you just
It's not as terrifying as The Fall, the one about the girls climbing up the radio mast.
oh yeah, I haven't seen that. No, I haven't.
Oh my
But come
god!
on,
Oh my god!
it's scarier than Alien. It really is scarier than Alien. And you don't
Yes.
see anything. You just see he just puts a photograph in the reel and you just see snapshots.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It's disturbed. Talking about of another scary film, as another film didn't do well was Heaven's Gate.
Well, that's because it was shit. And come on,
Ah,
that's not one that's found fame
well,
afterwards. So this is Michael Cimino, is it? The director of the Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter won all the awards. Everyone thought it was amazing, and they went, "You can make anything you want, sir." And he went, "I want to make a historical epic about people from Minnesota who talk like this." And apparently he was an absolute megalomaniac on the film. He decided he built an entire town, and then he was like, he put the camera down, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, the buildings need to be a little bit further away from each other." So like they spent another few million like
right.
dismantling the buildings, putting them
Yeah.
back together, like a meter back, so you could get this particular. Have you seen it?
I just confused it with the one with Johnny Depp when he's chasing the guy's the devil worshipper and the guy ignites himself at the end, which is something gate, isn't it?
That's the
Oh,
Ninth Gate.
the ninth
That's a
gate.
Roman Polanski film.
Yeah,
He's
that's
problematic, and it's got Johnny Depp in, who's problematic. Double problematic film.
Does that cancel out? And doesn't it?
No, no, it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't.
Okay, yeah. So Heaven's Gate, I thought I'd seen it, and now I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
So what's yeah, okay. So you think it's still bad now?
Yeah, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, that's fucking
Okay.
awful. I mean, some critics probably like it because they like,
Yeah,
oh,
because it was on all the
people
lists
just
as being
yeah,
classic.
a
Okay.
classic that was just misunderstood. It's not honestly. It's
All right.
there's like a dance scene in it. I think it's got Chris Christopherson in it, maybe something like that.
I like Chris Gustav. So rare film for you, which I keep telling people to go and see. I mean, he was in all the Blade films, Use It films.
Yeah,
But he was in a film called Millennium. It was made, oh, I don't know, 1980s. And there is a copy of it on YouTube because you can't get it on DVD and it doesn't stream anywhere, but it is on. I found it on, and I made my wife sit through it on
yeah,
YouTube. And it's about the aliens in the future taking people off airliners before they crash and then replacing them with just bodies that look like humans to populate the future, which is dying. And it's
yeah.
really clever plot. And he's an
Oh,
air
okay.
crash investigation. He works for the NTSD and he's kind of onto the. He kind of works out something's going on with all the crashes he's investigating.
Yeah,
And some of them are in the 60s and some of them are in the 50s and some of them are in the 70s because these people can time travel and they're coming from any point. They just take the people off just before they die. The plane crashes because they can freeze it in time. And so it was really clever plot.
yeah.
Anyway, Chris Christopherson was in that, just as little. Didn't
Well,
make any mark.
Heaven's Gate. If you get it now, I suppose it's on streaming or something. It's 5 hours and 25 minutes long.
Gee, that's endurance. That's
I
longer
know,
than
honestly, and it's just. It's got Jeff Bridges and Chris Christopherson in, which is hilarious because I always mix those two up.
okay.
And it's also got Christopher Walken, John Hurt in it, William Dafoe. I mean,
Oh,
it
it's
was
just a classic.
it was this absolute epic, and it ended up destroying. I think that was the one that took out not Universal,
Yeah.
United Artists,
Yeah.
which was a film studio. It was the youngest film studio, and it was set up by Charlie Chaplin and some other actors back in like the 1930s because they didn't like the way the studio system worked.
His first artists.
United Artists.
United Artists.
I
That's
think
it.
it was the last, proper United Artists film that was actually produced by them rather than just a distribution deal. And it wasn't until DreamWorks SKG came along in the late 90s that there was another studio in Hollywood. But I think DreamWorks has wound up now. I know that its animation department's wound up or it's moved or something. They made Shrek, didn't they?
We did. Interesting side fact for you, since we're down the rabbit hole. William Dafoe,
Yeah.
the famous scene, his most favorite scene in Platoon, when he runs out with the old violin music and he's
Adagio for Strings by Chris Barber.
No, scrub, scrub, scrub. The blood packs didn't go off, and so he doesn't. If you look, he doesn't get shot at all
Oh, he's
because
just
none of
moving around.
just moving around. But he carried on responding, and the director went, "Fuck it,
Samuel
cut."
Barber. Samuel, not Chris, sorry.
Yeah.
Samuel
So
Barber.
they moved on. But if you look at that scene where he runs, it's on YouTube. You're gonna look. It's none of the blood packs go off. There are no
Yeah.
holes in his clothes. Nothing. So he doesn't get hit at all. But anyway, they decided to carry on with it.
Apparently, 2001 was a bit floppy. I thought it did quite well because it was marketed as the ultimate trip. So loads of hippies took LSD and then sat there in the cinema going, what the fuck? And they probably fell asleep halfway through and then woke up when Dave Bowman went through the monolith outside Jupiter. And went, oh, whoa, my God, it's full of stars. Was a never-ending story a flop at the cinema? I think it probably was actually, but that was a German film.
People like that now. Never-ending story.
The soundtrack did quite well. I think a few of these were saved by VHS. Blues Brothers definitely was saved by VHS.
Oh, Blues Brothers on the list. So there you go. We can take that one. We can discuss the Blues Brothers. I remember didn't do well at the time.
We didn't mention Blues Brothers 2000 on sequels that didn't need to be made last week, and we possibly should have. That was absolutely fucking awful. But yeah, Blues Brothers, fantastic movie. One of the best Saturday Night Live movies. You know, sketch from Saturday Night Live that got made into a movie. There's a fuckload of them, including one called Pat, which is about a character who's just like irritating, and that's like the funny thing.
Okay,
it's awful. It's so bad. It's probably got like 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, I'm going to look it up as we're talking about it. But yeah, Blues Brothers, loads of great music in it. I mean, it's a shit film, but it's just it's got that manic energy of just let's do the show here.
Ray Fisher, excellent in it.
Yeah, it's Pat. 2.8%, 2.8 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go for
0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Now, here's a film I was really surprised about. 1946, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes. I was going to mention that, actually. I've got another one from a golden oldie that flopped on release as well, which we might come to. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. That was revived by it being played at Christmas time on TV in the 1950s and 60s and became part of people's childhoods.
Die Hard, it's not a Christmas movie. No, yes, it is. It is a Christmas movie.
There's two types of people in the world. There's people who think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie and people who are wrong.
Exactly. We agree. Yo ho ho, motherfucker! I have a gun. I wanted to get a jumper that just says "Yo ho ho, I have a machine gun now."
Yes,
as my Christmas jumper. I've seen those.
Yeah, you can
get them. Yeah, I want one of those.
Yo ho ho.
So It's a Wonderful Life. What was the other one you wanted to mention then from that era?
Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah,
Wizard of Oz did shit at the box office. When it first came out, it was re-released and again and again, and it was shown on TV. And obviously, you know, when the transition to color happened, that was like a miracle, you know, on TV to be shown as like movies as far as movies went.
Yeah.
Because it had that whole scene where she opens the door, like the sepia world, go to this glorious 3-strip Technicolor. So Simon Smith as well, the other one from that era, Citizen Kane, was a flop.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I read that.
But that's because the whole thing was an absolute mega piss take of the Rupert Murdoch of its day. And so the Rupert Murdoch of his day, William Randolph Hearst, did everything in his power to suppress this movie, get people to not watch it, gave it loads of bad publicity, said it was really shit. And obviously it's only grown in stature since, because it is the best movie ever made. It just is.
Sorry. Yeah, well, I can argue it on that. Okay, let's go to something. Mulholland Drive.
I saw that at the cinema as well.
No, shocker.
So, I mean,
I like Mulholland Drive.
It's a David Lynch film. What were you expecting? You know, he wasn't one for making. Well, I suppose like Twin Peaks was you know, this mad cultural event in the early 90s. And if it wasn't for Twin Peaks, I don't think you would have had the X-Files. Certainly don't think you would have had stuff that had a continuing storyline in a in a TV series. So up to this is weird because we can't really think about like what life was like before we knew what things were like. It's a bit like when you talk about albums. Like no one made albums like we think of that albums before. I think it was Bring It All Home by Bob Dylan was the first album that we would now think of as an album. Up till then, it was kind of compilations of a couple of songs that the band did, and then some cover versions and stuff. It was more of a compilation than a concept
Yeah.
that told a story, like Sergeant Pepper's or something like that. You know, with a beginning and an end. And in the same way, TV shows, you had your ongoing procedurals, cop dramas, and hospital dramas and stuff. And even like stuff like Star Trek could be seen as a procedural because everything sort of reset at the beginning of each episode. It wasn't like they continued the one story over a whole season. If they did that, it was called a mini-series, and they only made one season of it. But then you also had soap operas where they were just ongoing stories forever and ever and ever. Amen. And what Twin Peaks did, it came in the middle of that. It was like a mini-series because it was one story overarching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Didn't reset every week. But it wasn't a soap opera. It wasn't a soap opera, but it wasn't a mini-series because it went on for a couple of seasons, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant because it got people watching mad, crazy shit and going, I have no idea what's happening. This must be awesome.
Everybody talked about it.
Yeah. So the knock-on effect of Twin Peaks. But yeah, I mean, Mulholland Drive, I think it's a great film. I like it. I think that Naomi Watts is excellent in it. I don't like it as much as Blue Velvet, which is one of my faves from him, and I like it a lot more though than I also liked Lost Highway, which is a bit weird. It's like two movies stapled together halfway through. It just switches, and the same actors are playing different characters. It's very odd. But yeah, I really didn't like Inland Empire. I just that lost me.
Oh yeah. What was it called? Something Empire?
Inland Empire.
I haven't seen that one. Inland Empire.
Yeah, it was Laura Dern, and it was just a bit pretentious, maybe.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I always liked about David Lynch is he had fun with it. It wasn't so pretentious that I felt that it wasn't so pretentious that it was.
Yeah.
You couldn't get into it. Do you know what I mean? When it's a bit too highfalutin, I'm like, oh. But there was a bit of humor in all of the David Lynch films. And all the surreal shit that was going on.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, we got. How many times have you watched The Fifth Element?
Oh, I love The Fifth Element.
It's a great film. That did all right at the box office, I think. So someone's mentioning where was it? Oh, Oliver is talking about The Iron Giant, which flopped at the box office. Fucking fantastic. Not
in my list, but I did see that in a list.
Directed by Brad Bird, who went on to direct The Incredibles, which is one of the best Pixar movies.
Great.
And he also directed Mission Impossible 4. Ghost Protocol.
Quite like that.
And he did Tomorrowland, and I don't think he's done anything since because that was a massive flop, which might be on your list with George Clooney, Tomorrowland.
It's not. No, it wasn't in the list that's in the. I went for common themes across 5 lists. So it didn't come up. Tomorrowland.
Did John Carter come up on the list?
That came up as a film that would crashed at the time and hasn't recovered now.
Yeah.
I've got these honorable mentions: bombed and never recovered. I've got 9 of those. I didn't think we'd get to those, but John Carter's on the bombed and never recovered.
Wild West.
Let me run through the 8 quickly because we know Cutthroat Island, bomb never recovered. Battlefield Earth, bombed. Battlefield Earth, bomb never recovered. The Adventures of Pluto Nash lost 93 million.
That was
the Lone Ranger.
What's his name? Trading Places, wasn't it? Eddie Murphy, was it?
Yeah, I think it was. The Lone Ranger.
With
never bombed and never recovered.
Fucking, what's his name? Arnie Hammer, who's problematic, and fucking what's his name?
Your mate.
Yeah, problematic man.
Lone Ranger. Yep. So Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Oh, with Angelina Jolie and
bombed, never recovered.
Jude Law. I saw that at the cinema.
Me too. Hellboy, bombed, never recovered.
Cowboy?
Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy. Oh, it's still a great movie. And he got to make a sequel. They couldn't have bombed that bad. They got a sequel. Golden Army.
I don't argue with the lists. I'm just telling you. And the last one, Planet Terror.
Yes, that's a Robert Rodriguez film,
It
isn't it?
is.
Part of
So in the
Grindhouse.
article I read, said it bombed because it was trying to do everything and be clever and and fit a genre, and
Yeah,
it tried too hard. Unlike Death Proof, which succeeded and was brilliant, and everybody loves it. So that
yeah.
was the article I read. So I do the research for this program.
So
Yeah.
Death
So
Proof was directed by Quentin Tarantino, and Robert Rodriguez did Planet Terror, and it was supposed to be a Grindhouse double bill. But in
yeah,
the end, they got split up and released as two separate films with a bit of a crossover because they had like an advert from Machete, which then got made into a film,
yeah,
which with
I,
Danny Trujo.
yeah. I love
That
Danny.
was fantastic. I loved Machete.
I loved, yeah,
It's a
Machete's. I
very
loved all
daft
those.
movie.
I love those. I love Desperado, and Desperado too. I bought those on DVD at the time. I thought those were really good. But I also like the vampire one when they go down to Mexico.
Yeah, Dust Till Dawn.
Oh, Dusk Until Dawn is great.
Yeah, when we were talking about remakes, we should have said that El Mariachi got remade as Desperado. Same
Uh,
director. I mean, it's the same character. It's an Antonio Banderas in both of them, but it's
yeah,
kind of like the big. They got money off Hollywood. Let's
yeah,
do a sequel, but it's kind of like the same thing. And then the
yeah.
third one was Once Upon a Time
Yeah, and the villain in
in
Desperado
Mexico.
is the villain in Clear and Present Danger. Oh no, yeah, Clear and Present Danger.
I think Johnny Depp turns up in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He probably wrecks it. We got some other suggestions coming out. Football Factory
Oh
bombed.
yeah.
The Matrix Resurrection. Oh god, that bombed
Oh
without
God,
trace, didn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Swamp Thing says Trip. Yeah. Monsters Inc. flopped at the cinema. I don't think so. I think it might not have done as well as other Pixar movies, but it's a fucking brilliant movie. Oh, little boo. Iron Giant, another great classic movie, says Chris C.
Yeah,
Um,
good point.
and there's a small independent French anime called Flow about a cat, no dialogue. It's amazing. Yeah,
Oh,
it wasn't a flop because it didn't cost that much to make, but it won the best picture for animation in the Oscars this year. Flow did. Wild Wild West was dire. Galaxy Quest, Simply
yeah,
Secular Dave.
Alex. Yeah, whoever said that, brilliant.
Another
Because
movie I saw at the cinema.
bombed at the cinema, classic film now.
Mm.
Mentioned on all my list, 1999, classic film. Well,
Genie
I love
Bottle
that.
saying I just watched the latest Karate Kid film. Someone earlier said they've just seen the new 28 Years Later, which wax on, wax off, which I'm
Ooh,
going to see. That's why we're doing the show a bit earlier tonight, because I've got to get to the cinema and I've got to get back and pack for Glastonbury. And there's going to be so much stuff, and I'm going to be like, oh shit, I haven't got that thing that I need.
yeah. There's a great, I just watched yesterday because I've watched the summary of 28 days and 28 weeks again because I've got them on Blu-ray, but I just
I
thought, oh, I'll
forgot
just
what
watch the
happened. I
summary. I
don't
don't wanna
care.
go. But
Zombies.
there's some good YouTubes on 20 things you never noticed in 28 days and stuff. There's some good stuff. You go,
It's
oh
filmed
God,
on
yeah.
like Sony PD-150s. Like the quality of it is shite. Like
They
when
did
you
it on
watch it,
purpose. They did that on purpose.
yeah. Well, yeah, because it costs fuck all.
No, but they did it on purpose, sort of for the grainy
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
just how they shot the bit on Westminster Bridge and all that stuff with nobody on it and all that stuff. It was just quite interesting
Yeah.
things you didn't notice and how they did it. It was quite good. It was interesting.
One Angry Pagan saying Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. I think like anything that managed to get a sequel out of it probably did all right at the box office. There's no sequel to John Carter of Mars or Wild Wild West.
There is really not. Okay, let's go for another one then. Master and Commander.
Oh, I saw that in the pictures as well.
Didn't
The Lesser of
I
the Two
think you are.
Weevils.
Is anybody noticing that the kiss of death of these films is that Graham went to see it? Is like
Well, the thing is, I usually go to the cinema once a week. So,
right,
well, I
okay.
used to back in the
But
day. Can't do that anymore because we don't have subtitles on all the movies. If you
yeah,
put subtitles on all the movies, you'd get me, for one, going to the cinema more.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I hear you. Master and Commander is a classic. One of my most favorite films, Rodney. I just love the dialogue. I love. It makes me cry. The brotherly love, the bromance between the Doctor and the Captain.
Yeah. Russell
Jack,
Crowe and Paul Bettany.
you've given me a debt that I don't think I can pay back. Oh, nonsense stuff and nonsense, Doctor. It can't fly. It's not going anywhere and all that stuff. It's just the lines and the dialogue is lovely. And the cook, listen to the cook in Master and Commander. He's like, "There's 2 lumps in that. Oh God, here they go. They're playing." The cook has got loads of one-liners, which are so funny. But it's
And
such a
directed by Peter Weir. I just had to double check that it is directed by Peter Weir, who's one of my favorite directors. He's the guy who did Picnic at Hanging Rock. He did Gallipoli.
And he played
which
RoboCop.
annoyed me when it was in the. I remember picking it up a Blockbuster, and it said, "From a place you've never heard of, a story you'll never forget." And I went, "I've heard of Gallipoli, you fuckers." I've
It
been
is.
there.
I am upset they didn't. It's like the Hornblower series on ITV. I loved,
Yeah,
but it didn't have enough people in it,
yeah,
and they didn't make enough of them.
yeah,
What they did with the Sharps, they made loads of Sharps. They didn't do enough Hornblowers. Master and Commander was a film that definitely needed a sequel
yeah, yeah.
because I
Well,
loved it.
unfortunately, he kind of he only did one film after that, and then he retired. But
Yeah,
Dead Poet Society, Mosquito Coast, Witness, Year of Living Dangerously, The Cars That
yeah,
Ate Paris. I mean,
great film.
he's
Great
got a lot of
pedigree.
good movies, and one of the best movies of all time, The Truman Show.
Yeah,
If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. The Truman Show was. I don't want to say ahead of its time because I think that everyone could see the way things were going with reality TV was really just starting at that time. Although
yeah,
we didn't have Big Brother, we did have The Real World on MTV, and
yeah,
these reality people, on
yeah,
reality shows were becoming more famous.
yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I hear. I like it. Truman Show is classic, and it was very different at the time. So
yes,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you didn't know where it was going. If you didn't, when I went to that film, I went to see that in the cinema. I couldn't remember. I didn't know what it was about. And I thought, what the fuck is going on in this film?
yeah.
And then yeah, I liked it.
Well,
So
Master and Commander, it was nominated for 10 Oscars.
I didn't do well at the box office.
It
That's the
won
point,
10.
though. And I think it's. I mean, you say it's the best film in the world. I don't know. Master Commander's up there. I
Well,
mean, you could
okay,
argue.
its budget was 150 million,
Yeah.
and it took 211 at the box office. It made a profit. Made a profit. Not a healthy profit, but a profit.
Well, some of those films where I said took 7 million, it cost 103 million to make it, So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's throw another one in. Now, I'm surprised because in my list it said this was bombed and is now considered successful, whereas I think it bombed and it's still bombed. Waterworld.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw that at the cinema as well.
Me too.
But yeah, Kevin Costner
Yeah,
and thingy buddy Hopper, Dennis Hopper.
it's not, but yeah. I mean, what Kevin Costner did, he did No Way Out, which was really good. He did The Postman, which I really liked. He
Mm.
obviously, I know you may not like I kind of like The Postman. Obviously,
Field of Dreams. I like that.
Field of Dreams, and the one about the Dancing with Wolves. So I mean, he did some good ones, but yeah, well, didn't quite ring it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, I don't think that people regard it now as a classic, shape
Where
or
would you
form.
put? I haven't got these on any of my list. It didn't come up anywhere. Raise the Titanic. Bombed at the cinema because they
That
discovered
bombed,
the
yeah.
Titanic
Is
went before it was
is
released.
Ishtar on your list with Dustin Hoffman? Because that was quite
Come
a
up. I didn't
famous.
see it on any of the
I think
lists.
Heaven's Gate is probably the most famous sort of box office test because it did sink the studio.
Right. Well, I don't think Lou Grade made many films after Raise the Titanic. He said it would be cheaper to lower the ocean. He said, boom, boom, which I thought was quite funny. But I like Raise the Titanic because I'm a Titanic boy and I like books on Titanic and blah blah blah. So I liked it because I've got every version of a Titanic film there is. And I always say to my wife, well, I've got loads of it going down. It's only reason that you need one of it coming back up again. So
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
but it didn't do well. And had Richard Jordan in it, who did a really good role, played Dirt Pit. And in fact, Dirt Pit movies don't do really well. The books are good. The first 10 of them are really good. And none of the Dirt Pit films,
Mm.
unlike, if you look at things like The Pelican Brief, all those books for, by what's his name, who writes all the legal
John
books,
Grisham.
John Grisham and all those lot. All of those transferred in. Op Center and all those other books have all transferred in. Michael Crichton books have all made great films. Dirt Pit books are excellent, the first 10, because he starts
Yeah.
pairing off, but none of them they convert into films very well.
Mm.
And I don't know why that is. Matthew
It could be a
McConaughey.
lot of reasons. I mean, just crap people being put in charge. One of your bombs should be the Golden Compass, which was the first part
Oh
of
yeah,
his Dark
yeah,
Materials
yeah.
trilogy. And they got some cracking actors. They had Sir Ian McKellen doing the voice of the the polar
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah.
Yorick. They had Daniel Craig
Yeah.
is in it playing Lord North. What's her name?
Australian actress.
Nicole Kidman is fantastic as Mrs. Coulter.
I'm really bad on names at the moment. I'm on a medication to sleep, and when I'm on it, I go, "Hello, I'm Dory the goldfish.
Yeah,
Hello."
yeah.
My brain.
But the thing is, the girl they
Yeah.
got to play Lyra, Dakota
Yeah.
thingy, Dakota Fanning or something. I just thought she was shit. And the director was the co-director of American Pie, and I just can't get over
Oh
that
yeah.
because I still remember to this day, Rach. I
Yeah.
told you this before, when me and my mates found out that Peter Jackson was going to be directing the Lord of the Rings films. We went out to the Jacaranda in Liverpool and we celebrated. Like we literally went out and we couldn't afford champagne, but we popped open some beer bottles in excitement. When I found out who was going to be directing, it's one of my favorite book series of all time.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. It blends physics and metaphysics. It's really interesting. It's very imaginative, which I really appreciate because I find a lot of stuff might be well written, but it's not particularly imaginative.
Yeah.
And yeah, they got the co-director of American Pie. Not, I don't know, someone with Terry Gilliam, someone who could create something mad. Even he wasn't making particularly good movies at that time, but Tim Burton, someone like that, or Peter Jackson, even someone who's got this pedigree in making these really, really epic movies. However, the whole thing has been redeemed because there was a BBC TV, I think it was a BBC HBO co-production of His Dark Materials with 3 seasons with Daphne McKee or something. She's the little girl out of Logan, the one about Wolverine being old. And she's Daphne Keane, her name is. She's fucking brilliant in it. She's a really good liar. And it was just put together really well. It had the baddie Moriarty from Sherlock in it. The new, the updated.
Oh yeah, the guy was C in the Bond film.
Scott. Yeah, no, was he? Did he come back? Andrew Scott. It's got him in it. It's got the guy who wrote Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh my god, I'm just forgetting everyone's bloody name here.
It's rubbing off. You see, you're on my stuff.
Ruth Wilson, who I really rate as an actress. She was in Stephen Polyakov play or show. Not Joe's Palace, the other one. It was really, really good. Except that it did have David Walliams in, who's very problematic. We're not going to go into that tonight. And she played Alice in Luther.
I love you, Luther.
Alice.
No, I love you. I love you.
Alice.
What's his name?
What have you done? What have you done, Alice? Oh, Alice. Oh,
Alice.
what have you done,
Alice? What have you done? You haven't killed my wife, have you, Alice? Oh, no.
But yeah, the TV series of His Dark Materials is very good. I'd really recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, then we better throw another one into the mix then. But just to say, Clive Cussler books are great. And then he started pairing off with lots of other writers. But Clive Cussler books the first 10 are excellent. And then the films, the one with Matthew McConaughey, I can't remember which one it was. It'll come to me the name, but it wasn't the best book. Could have been any of them. Okay, let's try Willy Wonka, 1971.
Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Only took $1 million at the box office. So I know it's only 71, but it should have done better. It did. Obviously, everybody loves it now. But at the time.
Yeah.
Well, so there you go.
Fight Club is being said by Tommy Lee. I don't think it did that well in the box office because it was just marketed really, really badly. They didn't know how to market the film.
Yeah, that was on my list. It was not in the top 19, but it was there.
I saw that a week before it came out. At a preview screening, and so there was no one to ruin it for me. No one told me the twist.
Do you take people to the cinema with you to ruin it and whisper in your ear?
No, I can't stand it when people ruin stuff like it. It's just, and if I ever accidentally say the end of a movie that someone hasn't seen, I feel so bad afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, I am so sorry. But yeah, it's always worth checking, I guess, before dropping a spoiler, especially for a movie that doesn't have a twist in it. But the thing is this, right? If you know there's a twist, you're looking for it. And if you don't know there's a twist, it's even better
Yeah.
because you don't know there's a twist to look for. So when I went to see, I think like The Sixth Sense, I knew that there
Yeah.
was a twist because that was the big marketing thing. There's a twist, there's a twist. Oh my God, there's a twist. So you watching the whole movie going, oh, I wonder what the twist is. Oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's the other.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Village by
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan or something?
That's
I
pretty cool.
didn't know that had a twist in it. I didn't know that had a twist in it, but I saw it at the cinema, right? And if you haven't seen it and you don't want the twist ruined, please look away now. Put your fingers in your ears. There's a scene like at the very beginning, the camera pans in or zoom, it goes over this farm, and there's a picket fence. And I thought to myself, that picket fence looks really modern.
Yeah.
It didn't look like an old school picket fence, and
Yeah.
I didn't guess the ending. I'm not saying that I realised what what the ending is,
Yeah.
but that really stood out to me, and I thought that was a mistake on behalf of the filmmakers to have that introductory shot of the village, the titular village, and then show this picket fence that just looked a bit wrong. It looked like no, that's been made by machines. That's not been made by that's not been handmade.
I watched two bloopers the other day of Lord of the Rings, and one of them is when Gandalf arrives at, in the fireworks display at the beginning.
In Hobbiton, the Shire.
Yeah, when he arrives on his horse and cart, a car is seen driving along in the background on the road, and it was in the in the theatrical showing of it. But he got so pissed off for people telling him about it that he digitized it out on the DVD release.
Well, did we talk yesterday about the Star Wars re-release? Did we talk? Sorry, last week. Did we talk about the Star Wars re-release of the original Star Wars from 1970?
Well, there was the one with the guy who bangs his head on the door, which is always the...
George Lucas has been tinkering with it ever since it was like reissued. Like the first time it was reissued, they added Episode 4, A New Hope, and he cleaned up some of the sound effects, and there was a few other bits tinkering that he did.
A bit with, when Harrison Ford steps on Jabba's tail and all that stuff. That's all been digitized and thrown in, hasn't it?
Yeah, he got rid of it. None of that was in it. So, but the thing that was interesting is people came out and they were like, "That was a bit shit," because what they were expecting is the special editions without those annoying scenes in that don't need to be in there.
Yeah.
But they wanted the cleanliness of the cut. They wanted the upgraded sound effects to THX surround sound. The stuff that they were expecting. And then when they actually watched it, they were like, this is quite shonky. This looks really shonky. And it's interesting because you watch Star Wars now, you watch it on streaming or whatever, it looks fucking amazing. You're like, bloody hell, I can't believe these effects from 1977. Yeah, but it's been fucked around with. And that's why if you watch any other movie from that era, if you watch like the TV show Battlestar Galactica, or you watch The Black Hole, or you watch Moonraker, the effects look really fucking shoddy because no one's been going back over it every couple of years and going, I'll just clean up that frame and I'll just make that computer console look like a fucking console instead of a couple of cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's interesting that it gets that, but because he's trying to make the first three films match the cleanliness and the cleanness of the later films. So I mean, obviously, he flicks, at the end of Return of the Jedi, he actually flips in a different
and Hayden Christensen, that annoyed me
to link it all up. So he's constantly tinkering.
Apparently, in this screening of the original print from 1977, everyone cheered when Han Solo shot first.
Why not? Oh my God. So let's throw another one in. This is Spinal Tap.
Oh yes. Yeah. And that's been massively influential, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Spinal Tap as mockumentaries.
As I said, I told you that Jamie Lee Curtis met Christopher Guest because of that film. She asked him on a date because of that film.
It's a fantastic movie.
It is a great movie.
But I put up there with Nell and I, where I know it didn't do well at the box office, but it's just got such a cult following. And it's one of those films that I think really, really stands up to rewatching because there's stuff you don't notice. There's little gags in there that you don't notice.
Yeah.
And so like there's some of the classics that I really like, the ones that you can just watch them again and again and again, and it doesn't really devalue them.
And I mentioned that the film with Bill Nighy about the band Strange Fruit. We talked about it a few weeks ago, which is a little bit like Spinal Tap. It's got Billy Connolly and Jimmy Nail, and they all play the instruments in the film, and that is a really good. It's like an English version of Spinal Tap. And the soundtrack, I bought the soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack of it as well. So, but that's just me. I'm a bit weird. It's not called Strange Fruit. That's the name of the band. I can never remember the name of the film, but anyway.
Jenny Robinson there says in Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino was going to have an overlay on an opening sequence saying that all but one of these people will be dead by the end of the movie, and one of them is a cop.
Very
Well, I
good.
mean, it wasn't really much of a twist at the end of that. Well, it was that they all died, I guess, but the fact that he's a cop is made very clear early on, where you see him, getting his cop badge out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind a twist in a movie, but my thing is like it's first of all, it's got to be part of the drama. You can't just throw a stupid twist in at the end.
Yeah.
That kind of annoys me.
I like shocks. It's
And
like when we talk about
it
when you
can't.
like. Sorry.
I was gonna say, it can't all be about the twist.
No.
You can't just sit there for 2 hours, nothing happening, and then it's like, oh, big twist. Oh, I was joking. He's like, that doesn't work.
Well, it's what I said to you when we talked a few weeks ago about executive decision. They killed off a major character that you thought was the main character in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's got to be earned. It's got to be earned, I think, if you have a twist in a movie.
Yeah. Okay, another one. I mean, this is on every list going from the world. The Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank, good old Shawshank.
I liked Andy. You're a long time living or you're a long time dying. Classic film.
You know what they say about the Pacific Ocean? They say it's the Pacific Ocean. No, they say it's got no memory. The Abyss, there's another one that was a bit of a bomb.
Oh, I like The Abyss. That's got to be classic, right? That's got to have got better. The best line in that is, "She is a bitch. I really can't stand that woman." And the guy looks down the hatch, and goes, "Shame you married her, hey." So that was really good. Oh, that was quite made me laugh.
James Cameron's effort, wasn't it, before T2? Shawshank Redemption was redeemed by VHS and subsequently DVD sales, and everyone sort of went, "Oh my god, that really was a very good movie." But it came out in a year chock full of really good movies. Like, I mean, I don't want to get all nostalgic and go, "God, the 90s were amazing," but like, just to think, like 1993, right? The Piano, Jurassic Park, and Sirens, all starring Sam Neill, came out. What a great fucking year! Like, and then 1994 in movies is just insanely good. Pulp Fiction came out in 1994. I know we make fun of Forrest Gump, but it was a huge movie.
It was great.
It was.
I've been going right to the cinema right through the 80s and 70s, but I'm not going to rub that in, the 90s was a great year. The 80s was classic as well.
The 80s was fantastic. I think the 80s had slightly better because there were more original ideas. A lot of the big films that we like from the 90s, apart from the Tarantino movies, which are derivative, but they're not quite the same. The Shawshank Redemption is an adaptation of a short story by Stephen King. Silence of the Lambs, book by Thomas Harris. Jurassic Park is a book by Michael Crichton. So, it's there were, like, if you look at what 1994's top film was Lion King, which is fucking fantastic, but then it's an adaptation of
I've not seen that
of Hamlet. Forrest Gump, which is an adaptation. I think that it's based on a book. True Lies, which was new, which was bespoke. The Mask, which was based on a Dark Horse comic book. Speed, which was original idea. The Flintstones, which was
True Lies is the Arnie film, right, with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, that's
there was
James Cameron
also
as well.
True Romance, which had a violent gunfight at the end.
Yes, which someone mentioned earlier. That was written by Quentin Tarantino. True Romance. It was directed by Tony Scott, who's Ridley Scott's brother.
Yeah.
Fantastic film with Christian Slater.
Ends in an excellent gunfire at the end.
Yeah. Talking to Christian Slater, Interview with the Vampire came out in 1994. Clear and Present Danger came out. Four Weddings and a Funeral, Dumb and Dumber.
Yep. Oh, I don't like Dumb and Dumber, but Four Weddings and a Funeral. Clear and Present Danger, classic.
It's just a really, really good year.
Great lines in that. You've got a chip in the big game, and you're going to keep that chip, and you're going to play it when you need something. No, sir.
We got Schindler's List. No, that did well at the box office.
That did well, yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That did all right. It was a John Carpenter film, wasn't it? With John Candy and
Steve Martin.
Very good. It's a good film. I like it.
The bit in the car when he's going ba 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 the guy's asleep and then he gets his hands his cuffs caught and he can't drive in the car. It's such a great scene. Let's throw in the last few before because obviously you've got to go soon.
Yeah.
Equilibrium.
Oh yes, with the kid from Empire of the Sun who went on to play Batman and shouted at people for touching his lights.
Yep.
What was his name?
I had his name, and it's just it'll come to me.
Do you want me to fuck your lights? I'm gonna fuck your lights.
American Psycho guy.
American Psycho. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Yeah.
British actor.
Was Sean Bean in Equilibrium?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I think we covered that in our Sean Bean death.
Did he die? He must have died.
He did. He did die. He was like a priest or something, and he died. He got shot through a book because they weren't allowed books.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, the last two then. The Big
Lebowski. Oh, that is a fucking fantastic movie. Another movie I saw at the cinema.
Yeah.
You
are the kiss of death.
Coen brothers. Yeah, but I saw loads of really big hits. I saw Titanic at the cinema. I saw bloody Avatar at the cinema.
Big flop.
I saw Endgame at the cinema. But yeah, Big Lebowski. What a movie.
Brother Without that was my favorite Coen Brothers film. But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, they never make massive. They never make massive movies. You know what? Do you know what I really like by them? Talking about Tim Robbins from Shawshank Redemption was the Hoodsucker Proxy, and that's such a fun movie, and it just kind of sank without a trace, and people don't really talk about it anymore.
Oh, okay.
But there was Miller's Crossing, Blood Simple, Barton Fink.
What was the plot of Miller's Crossing?
It was a gangster movie set in the 1920s, I think. It had Gabriel Byrne.
Got it.
Not the one off the TV show.
Yeah.
I think might be getting mixed up with Blood Simple. I don't know. So early on in their career.
What are you doing, Miller?
They knocked it out the park. Again, Raising Arizona. Fucking fantastic movie. But then they made The Lady Killers, the remake with Tom Hanks, and that was shite.
No, you couldn't. I mean, that was one of those films we covered that when we did films that should never have been remade, like Operation Mincemeat. The man never. We did cover. They said The Lady Killers shouldn't have been remade because the first one's still funny.
First one's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
like so good, absolutely so good.
And the last one, Scott Pilgrim v. the World.
Yeah.
Do you like that film?
Edgar Wright. Yeah, I love it. It's really good. Get a Life, because it's like a video game, based on a comic book series. Directed by Edgar Wright, and it has Michael Cena, whatever his name is, in it.
Yeah.
As the titular Scott Pilgrim, who has to fight the evil X's, which
not
include...
Jesse Eisenberg.
No, the other one.
The other one.
It's easy to get those mixed up. But yeah, and he has to fight his girlfriend's evil exes, and one of them is Chris Evans, who went on to play Captain America.
Oh, that Chris Evans. Sorry, it wasn't Chris Evans that went. I thought it was. Yeah,
and Luke Wilson's one of them. I don't know. Scott Pilgrim. I'm gonna find out who all the evil exes were. The evil exes. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those films that should have been better. I think maybe
it's like bad at the time, bad after, a few years later, classic.
Well, it was still a good movie. I just didn't really find an audience, and I can see why. It is a bit of a weird concept for a movie.
Yeah, but all those, there are a load of those sort of films at that around that time, which I had a friend who was really good at films, and he made me watch loads and loads. He gave me loads of films of who's the, is it Jess and what's his name? That bad. Oh God, what are those 4 films that director made? You talked about them the other day. They're all. It's about those two.
It wasn't Luke Wilson. I'm getting mixed up with the other frequent collaborator with Wes Anderson. It was Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah. There was a genre of films, two characters.
Cluedo. No, Clue. No, Clue. No.
Young
Sleuth.
Jesse and so, and it was you mentioned them the other day.
Jesse and so.
Yeah, there's 2 guys. One's guy's a sort of big, large guy, and one's a thin guy, and they're sort of, and it's they're the sort of subculture. Oh God, I'll have to leave. I'll email
Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong.
No, it's directed by a guy. Did a sort of about 3 of them, 3, 4 films.
Oh, Clerks. You mean Chasing Amy and Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah, it might have been. Yes, Jay and Silent Bob. I
Yeah,
saw all
Kevin
those
Smith.
films at the time when they came
Yeah,
out, and my friend insisted I watch them. And I remember watching them thinking, okay, this is a bit different, but I like them. Jay and Silent Bob, that's it.
yeah.
Who's the director?
Kevin Smith. He
Kevin
plays
Smith.
Silent Bob. He's the
Jay and
guy who
Silent
plays.
Bob. Call it Kevin Smith. Thank you. You just
Yeah.
part of my brain's just reconnected.
But
That's it.
Clarks, because we say Clarks here in America, they call it Clerks, but whatever.
Yeah. I would.
That was a really good movie. I mean,
Yeah.
for a movie that was made on a tiny budget, it's in black and white because they couldn't afford fucking color film. And it was just obviously clearly stuck together by a bunch of people. By a bunch of
It was
mates.
around the time I was watching lots of sort of Jake Gyllenhaal films. His sister was doing a load of films. She did The Secretary with James. The
James
Secretary?
Spader. James Spanker.
With James Spader's back. That was a weird film. And that was like one other film that my friend said, yeah, watch this. This is a really weird film. Because I like James Spader. Obviously, he was in Boston Legal and he was like one of the Brat Pack and blah, 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 blah.
One Angry Pagan saying Dogma, which was one of the Kevin Smith films.
Yeah, Dogma. Good one.
It's got James Silent Bob in.
That's right.
And Matt Damon and
Matt Damon
and Ben Affleck and Alan Rickman and Alanis Morissette.
Hello.
Right, I've got to go.
You got to go.
My hip flask.
You got to go.
I've got me hip flask with my little Highland Stag on. I feel a bit bad because this doesn't have whiskey. Can anyone guess what's in Graham's hip flask? God, it smells good.
Iron Brew.
No, it's not. It's alcoholic. It smells so good.
Malibu? Malibu and orange.
No. It's it
Snowball.
is spiced rum.
Oh,
Captain
nice.
Morgan's spiced rum. Captain Morgan, famous for burning down Panama City and giving us rum. So yeah, I'd probably sacrilege putting that in a whiskey flask, but whatever.
Better be get float your boat.
Yeah.
And his.
Right, I've got my little charger for my phone. Press the
Excellent.
button on there. There you
Okay.
go. 80% need to charge that up a bit more. I've got a new SIM card from Vodafone, which apparently is unlimited. But I'm going to see how unlimited it is.
They have charging stations at Glastonbury for fans.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We usually got to queue up for ages, but we've got special tickets, so we probably won't have to queue up.
Great. Wink. Well, say hello to Kate Nash for me and tell her that she's a star.
I'm going to get a picture with her on my flag. That's my plan.
Well, just get a little wave would be nice. We need the trans community need a bit of a pick me up, and that would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think the ball is rolling. I really do think the ball is rolling. There's so many people are turning
big event in London
against
today, even though
JK
the
Rowling and all that shit.
well, yeah, I don't want to talk about too much because on this, but the gender crits were trying to felt like they were because the Parliament banned trans people from using the single sex loos in line with their gender identity, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and we think they did that on purpose because there's a big trans event in Parliament today. Millions of trans people rolling up to talk to their MPs, and we think it's good. But also, trans people have to restrain themselves because anti-trans people might rock up and try to provoke trans people into doing something, and then they take that picture.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, look, they did this thing."
Yeah. So I haven't seen how that event's gone yet. I'm going to look up some media now.
50 women have been murdered this year so far by cisgender men. Do you know how many women have been murdered by trans women?
Yeah. If it happened, it would be on the front of the newspapers forever.
Oliver's asking, can I get backstage? Yeah, I can get to the back of some of the stages, not the big one. I don't think I'll be able to get into the pyramid stage. But before I go, I'll tell you a funny story. One year, I was there at my friend who wrote for The Enemy, and he had a wristband. And I don't know if you've seen the Glastonbury wristbands, are fabric wristbands with a little bit of metal that clasps them together. And the punter ones were yellow, but he had a special Access All Areas black wristband that allowed him into the back behind the pyramid stage, right? And so he turned up at the gate and he shows them the black pass that he's got. And what we found was if we just turned our passes inside out, the underside was black. And it was night, it was dark, like the last act had finished. So we just turned everyone, there was like 5 of us, and we all just turned our passes around. And we just went like this and flashed them. And he just went, yeah, whatever. Because he'd looked at the first one and that was okay. And it was just like, yeah. And we're in there. It's like the Manic Street Preachers. And I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. I don't think that'll work again this year. I'll give it a go.
I loved your video on how to get to the front at Glastonbury. That is genius. I'm going to use that.
Maybe
No,
I should change the name of the top 10 secrets or whatever. I should just call it How to Get to the Front of Glastonbury.
that was great. That's so clever. Do the lobster.
Do the lot. You're going sideways. You're going sideways.
Sideways. It's such a clever idea. And it's so obvious. It's like, oh yeah.
I'm gonna just put the link into the chat. So if people want to watch this, this is my Glastonbury Secrets video, and one of them is how to get to the front. Which literally in the space of a song. I know it's sped up because it'll be a bit boring.
But it was funny.
But it was in the space of a song. They started playing. It's the Kaiser Chiefs playing "Oh My God," and I managed to get to the middle of it before he finished.
Very clever. And nobody's offended because you're not pushing in. You're not pushing in.
No, don't do it before the gig. Don't do it. I should have made that really clear. Like, don't do it before the gig starts, and you want it when there's a banger playing because it means everyone's dancing. They're not just standing there watching. And also just try to go behind people. You know, rather than if you've got the choice between going in front or going behind, just go around the back of them, and then they don't feel as aggrieved. Anyway, gotta go. I'll be back tomorrow morning on the way to Glastonbury. I hope, with the help of my little phone here. You'll be able to watch me on my phone.
Yeah.
On the dashboard. And until then, big thank you to Rachel. Please join us on Friday. I think Mike might need you to hold his hand.
That's right. I never know quite now. I'm like you. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing the next day, but if I can, I will. Otherwise, thank you to the socialites for turning up to this. It's not a popular show, this one. It's a quiet little show during the programming. So those of you who come and watch, I'm really grateful.
I'm really grateful as well.
Wobbling on about films.
No, it's nice to have the gang in. Shame we couldn't get through all the comments there, but we had to have a bit of a shorter show today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Big thank you to Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Woo! And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.